execution.
Common thing of preventive maintenance and predictive maintenance. If people would follow the general rule of setting up programs or using sensors or intuitive programs to predict failure, they could prevent failure and they can improve efficiency. Improve efficiency, you can increase energy efficiency.
Certainly the Industry 4.0 topic has kind of weaved its way through quite a few of the presentations. I think it's good to get that message out there so that people understand it's not just data, it's not just accessing equipment, but there's a real benefit to the technology that goes into their operations and their bottom line. So that's probably one theme. I think in general the conference provides from an auxiliary perspective, from a primary equipment perspective, and from a downstream or converting perspective, really key insights for customers to keep their processes going and how to make them better. So that's the kind of thing that's really difficult. If you're focused on your day-to-day activities, very few people have spare time in their jobs these days. It's hard to find those on your own. So it's nice to get so many different ideas at one time in a conference like this.
Well, for me, everything is new, so I learned everything. Every presentation, I learned something new. I just wish I could, because we do mostly sheet foaming, right? So you know how you guys have different sections right through in the second session of the seminars. So a sheet is different, pipe is different, and everything. So I wish I could just go sit in every one of them, but sheet is more related to the field that I'm in. So every presentation was new for me. So I learned pretty much everything was new. Yeah.
The pleasure of moderating the sheet section at our Extrusion conference, and there were a number of innovations presented, but there were two that particularly impressed me. One of them was from Nordson EDI. I learned from their presentation that the die gap on a sheet needs to be proportional to the land length. In other words, for a thin sheet, you need a short land. For a medium thickness, you need a medium land. For a thick sheet, you need a long land. Whereas every sheet die allows you to adjust the die gap, they can't change the land length unless you replace the lower lip, which is time and labor consuming. Hence, Nordson EDI came out with what they call their Smart Gap system, which adjusts both things. It has a short land, and then it has two slides that come up that allow you to extend it to a medium land or a long land. And these two slides are actuated automatically as you change the die gap, so it adds enormous flexibility to the die. So that was pretty neat. And then the other development was from Processing Technologies Inc., PTI, which also adds flexibility to the sheet extrusion process. Only in this case, what they're doing is changing colors without purging, without downtime, without creating a roll of scrap. And the way they do that is by exchanging the positions of color layers in the sheet. So for instance, if you're doing a conventional cup with 4 layers, you've got a clear gloss layer on the outside, you've got a color layer underneath, you've got your regrind layer, and then you have a different color on the inside. So perhaps you want to change your outer color from red to blue. What you do is you start running your new blue color, which appears on the inside, or you don't see it, it's on the inside of the sheet next to the regrind layer. Then you switch a valve in the feed block, and the former red layer goes inside, and you turn off that color and that flow, and then the blue appears on the outside. And the whole thing can happen in under 30 seconds, and in some cases is under 6 seconds, which I think is an extraordinary development.
Come to conferences for sales pitches. They come to conferences to learn. I had one attendee on an elevator I reached out to him and I asked, has this been a worthwhile event for you? And he said to me, well, you know, if you learn something every day, and if you don't learn from the guys that you brought in to speak, then you're not going to learn. So that was a testament, I think, to the quality of the speakers that we had and the quality of their presentations. I mean, there's some folks who spoke at this event, who have been in this industry for a long time and who have seen everything there is to see 3 or 4 times. So, and a lot of them were very willing to impart their technical knowledge and their advice on extrusion-related problems, and I think that went over very well with the audience.